Vayam Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnana-jana-salakaya Sakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamakyam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavancha Shri Rupam Sagrajadam Sakagana Raghunadanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadutam Parijana Sagitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sakagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishobhana Sutte Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarupya Chakrupa Sindhupye Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhudale Srimate Jayapadaga Swami Nidhi Namane Namacharya Padaya Nisai Kripa Pradayane Gaura Kada Damadaya Nagara Grama Dharine Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhudale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nidhi Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pasadesha Dharine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Hare Krishna. Welcome to the Bhagavad-gītā lecture. Today we are going to see the overview of 11th chapter of Bhagavad-gītā. Before going into 11th chapter, we will just review what we have seen in the 10th chapter. The 10th chapter was on the opulence of the Absolute. So opulence of the Absolute means Krishna's Aishwaryas or Vibhutis. That is the topic of the 10th chapter, what we have seen. In the 10th chapter, we have seen Krishna, he explains about his opulences or Aishwaryas. In fact, Krishna starts saying this knowledge, what I am going to speak in 10th chapter is greater than what knowledge I have spoken to you thus far. So that means the knowledge revealed in the 10th chapter is much more glorious, greater than the other knowledges previously told. So in this chapter, Krishna reveals, because all these secrets what Krishna revealed to Arjuna, the ordinary Jivatma has cannot understand, cannot apprehend, no way to access. Even through the Vedas, it is not possible to get to this kind of knowledge, what Krishna has revealed out of his causeless mercy. So he reveals to us his origin is impossible to understand, even for the Devas and Asuras, and what to speak of ordinary humans like us. So he gives so many hints as to what is the, and then Krishna also tells that which has been created cannot be independently understand its own source. That is the point. So that means we are all created. Krishna is the supreme creator. The created cannot understand the creator in full. So if the creator reveals, then the created can understand to some extent. So from the beginning 5 up to 7 slokas, Krishna explained he is the source of all, and he can be known to some extent because known and still remains unknown. And that is the greatness of the Supreme Lord. So the Jivatma, up to including Brahma, are unable to know him. So that is the greatness of the Supreme Lord. And then the essence of Bhagavad-gītā 10.8 to 11. In this view, where Krishna is explaining about the Chaturshloki. In the Chaturshloki also we find the Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojana. That means every scripture, not just Bhagavad-gītā, any Veda, Upanishad, or the Puranas, Upapuranas, Vedanta Sutra, every scripture only speaks of these three subject matter: Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. Sambandha means what is my relationship with Krishna, and what is the relationship with Krishna and the Prakriti, and what is my relationship with me and Prakriti. So like this relationship between Krishna, Jivatma, Prakriti. So this understanding is called a relationship and Sambandha Jnana. And in that, more important knowledge is that we all have individual personal relationship with Krishna. That to understand that relationship is called Sambandha Jnana. Because Krishna is Supreme Spirit, we are all also Spirit. He is in the spiritual world, so we are supposed to be in the spiritual world. For the time being, we are bound in the material world. So we want to get out of this and go back to the spiritual world. So if you want to go back to the spiritual world, then we have to re-establish our relationship with Krishna, because this our relationship is now dormant. It is covered by all different kinds of ajnana or anarthas. So all these covering us. So by the we have to remove these anarthas or ajnana from our consciousness. That process by which all these anarthas, ajnanas that are covering our true, pure knowledge, pure consciousness, that process by which this can be removed is called Abhideya. So the Abhideya for this present yuga is chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and following the regulatory principles and reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad-gītā, and associating with the devotees. These are the processes by which we can remove all these anarthas and ajnanas from our self, or from which is covering our presently covering our consciousness, can be removed by following this Abhideya process of chanting, Sravanam, Kirtanam, and specifically the Sankirtana Yajna, Hare Krishna Sankirtana Yajna, Nama Yajna. Then when we practice this seriously, what is the goal or prayojana when we achieve? We achieve the goal of Krishna Prema. So when a devotee develops Krishna Prema, then he is no longer connected with the material world. His consciousness will be fully absorbed in Krishna Leela and the spiritual activities in the spiritual world. So gradually he will be transferred to the spiritual world by the mercy of the Supreme Lord. So that is the goal. And after listening to all these very most confidential and glorious instructions from the Supreme Lord Krishna, Arjuna, he accepts Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Param Dhamma, Param Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan. So like that, Krishna, Arjuna glorifies Krishna and accepts. Arjuna acceptance not as a friend, he accepts Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and with reference to, on the basis of great authorities like Sita, Devala, Vyasa, he quotes, he himself tells. Earlier I heard great sages like Narada Asita, Devala, Vyasa, such great personalities, Maharishis, great personalities, they have told this truth earlier. And this now you are telling me, so I accept everything. So therefore, Arjuna, after hearing all these details, then he accepts. And then he has a inquisitiveness or he has a eagerness to see Krishna's that Vishwarupa. So Arjuna requests Krishna to reveal his Vishwarupa or Krishna's opulences, Aishwaryas. So Krishna, when taking Arjuna's request, Krishna accepts, concedes, and then he orally, he explains various his opulences. So all those opulences, Krishna explains to him, names his opulences, like I am the sun, I am the moon, I am the river Ganga, like that, various great things of the Daityas, I am Prahlad, and of the Rishis, I am Narada, like that he gives the various opulences, and then he finally says all these opulences only indicate simply a fraction of my glory. Like that Krishna ends the 10th chapter. And he says, only simply my fragment of my potency I pervade and support the entire cosmos. So therefore Krishna has given his only a fragment of his glories he informed to Arjuna. Now, after hearing this what we have seen yesterday. Now Krishna, since he has told, I pervade the entire creation by my fragment of my potency. So then Arjuna naturally has a inquisitiveness that he wants to see that. Because in the last sloka of 10th chapter, Krishna said, Atava Bahunaitena Kim Natena Tava Arjuna Vistabhyagam Idam Krishnam Ekam Sena Sthito Jagat. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. This is the last sloka of 10th chapter. And Krishna, in the concluding verse, he says, was simply by with a single fragment of himself, he pervades and supports the entire universe. So therefore, the link or the connection between the 10th chapter and the 11th chapter is Arjuna's asking for this particular item. So Arjuna said, by my hearing the instructions you have kindly given me about these most confidential spiritual subjects, my illusion has now been dispelled. So this is very important. In the very first sloka of 11th chapter, Arjuna says, now all his illusion is gone. In the first chapter of Bhagavad-gītā, the whole discussion starts with Arjuna fully in illusion. Now after the completion of the 10th chapter, now Arjuna he says his illusion is fully removed and fully dispelled. My illusion has now been fully dispelled, removed. So Arjuna is now in full knowledge. So I have heard from you in detail about the appearance and the disappearance of every living entity and have realized your exhaustible glories. So Krishna, after hearing from Krishna how the Jivatma appear and disappear in the material world, that Arjuna says he has understood and he has also realized the inexhaustible glories of the Supreme Lord. Then he further he says, O Supreme Lord Krishna, though I see you here before me in your actual position as a chariot driver, you have described yourself that you pervade the entire creation. You pervade and support the entire cosmos. I wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours. This he is able to, why Arjuna is asking Krishna to show how he enters into the cosmic manifestation. That is because in the last sloka of 10th chapter, Krishna has told just by my fragment of myself I pervade. So that Arjuna asked him to demonstrate or show him how he entered. So that is the connection or relationship between the 10th and the 11th chapter of Bhagavad-gītā. Since Krishna has told that just by a fragment of himself he pervades and supports the entire creation, now Arjuna got a curiosity. He wants to see it himself personally. So he made this request to the Supreme Lord. I wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours. So this is the connection between the 10th chapter of Bhagavad-gītā and the 11th chapter. So that is the connecting point. Now, in this 11th chapter, so Arjuna first he says his illusion is removed. This is a very important point. So that means that after hearing about Krishna's glories, after hearing about most importantly 7, 8, 9, and 10, after hearing the instructions given in the four middle chapters, Arjuna says his illusion is now dispelled. So that means he is now freed from all the illusions, and he was in the beginning was having a lot of doubts, apprehensions. All these are now dispelled. So he is now ready to execute Krishna's order. So here what we find, Arjuna has asked this doubt. Actually not a doubt. He requests Krishna to show his universal form, because the universal form is by which Krishna pervades and enters into the material cosmos. So he continued to make this request in text 4 also. Arjuna says, O Supreme Lord, O Krishna, if you think I am able to behold your cosmic form, O my Lord, O Master of all mystic power, then kindly show me that unlimited universal form. This is the request from Arjuna. The word in this sloka, Arjuna uses the word Yogeshwara. Manyese yadi tat shakyam maya drishtamiti prabho Yogeshwara tato me tvam. So because he uses the word Yogeshwara to address the Supreme Lord Krishna, because there may be many yogis trying to achieve siddhis, but all their desired goal can be fulfilled only if Krishna is pleased. So because Krishna is the Yogeshwara, so master of all mystic power. So is used by Arjuna to indicate that he believes Krishna. Krishna, by his mystic power, can enable him to see the universal form, because he is the supreme mystic. Krishna is the supreme controller, supreme mystic. So he can reveal to Arjuna the universal form. Then another word Arjuna uses in this sloka is Yogeshwara Tattametvam Tashyatmanam Avyayam. And in the second line, Maya Drishtam Iti Prabhu. So Prabhu is also very important word used. So Prabhu used here means one with the capacity or power and strength to show the universal form. So like that, Arjuna makes this request addressing addressing the Supreme Lord Krishna with glorifying appropriate words of glories like Prabhu and Yogeshwara, like that. Now Krishna responds to Arjuna's request. So this is Arjuna's request. His state of mind is now revealed. He says, I am fully freed from all illusions. So he is in a steady consciousness, pure consciousness. So he is freed from all. In the beginning of the Bhagavad-gītā, he was completely in grief, unable to decide what to do and confused, and therefore he was not able to decide to fight or not to fight. Now Krishna says, I am fully relieved of all those illusions and grief. So therefore, Arjuna's state of mind is very well revealed by himself. And then he makes a request to the Supreme Lord Krishna, of course his friend as well, for seeing the universal form. So Arjuna wants to see the universal form. And this universal form he wants to see because Krishna told in the previous chapter end that just by fragment of myself, I pervade and support the entire universe. So naturally, that statement has created an inquisitiveness in Arjuna to see the universal form. And Krishna is the Supreme Lord, so he can show or not show. But since Arjuna is his friend, so he has agreed. So therefore, the chapter starts with this request. First of all, Arjuna says he is freed from all the ignorance and the illusions. So Arjuna said, by my hearing the instructions you have kindly given me about these most confidential spiritual subjects, my illusion has now been dispelled. So this Arjuna himself has declared that he is now freed from illusions. So Arjuna's illusion is over. He has accepted the Supreme Lord completely. He is satisfied. So this is Arjuna's state of mind at the beginning of the or end of the 10th chapter or beginning of the 11th chapter. By 10th chapter, Arjuna already now fully surrendered to the Supreme Lord. So like Arjuna surrendered to Krishna, we should also surrender to the Supreme Lord Krishna. Because by hearing Bhagavad-gītā, we must also surrender to Krishna because Krishna is the Supreme Lord and he is the well-wisher. He is Suhurdam Sarva Bhutanam. He is the well-wisher of every one of us. So why should we be waiting for more time? So right now we can mentally decide to surrender to Krishna. Then after Arjuna has requested the Supreme Lord to show his universal form, then Krishna, he not immediately has not shown, but he responded positively. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, see now my opulences, hundreds and thousands of varied, divine and multicolored forms. All this you can see in me. He also says, oh, best of the Bharatas, see here the different manifestations of Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, Ashwini Kumaras, all the different demigods you can see in this form. Actually, he is able to see all these various personalities in one place. But actually Krishna is telling what all Arjuna can see. He has not yet started showing his Vishwarupa. He is only telling what all he can see. Like that, he explains whatever you wish to see. What Arjuna, whatever he wants to see in the future, also can see it at present. So, O Arjuna, whatever you wish to see, behold at once in this body of mine. This universal form can now can show you whatever you now desire to see, whatever you may want to see in the future. Everything moving and non-moving is here completely in one place. In one place, all this you can see. How the universal situation, yourself, myself, and what is happening at present, what is going to happen in the future, all this you can see. What you wish to see in the future also can be seen now. So like that, Krishna describes what all Arjuna can see in the universal form. So here the Srila Prabhupada and Acharya, they also give a contrast. Krishna showed an aspect of the universal form to Duryodhana. So once Krishna went as a mediator between representing Pandavas to diffuse the situation and make an amicable solution between Pandavas and Kauravas. So in that, at that time, in the Duryodhana's assembly, Krishna, he made this several proposals for peace. But Duryodhana and Karna, they were foolish. They thought these Pandavas are weak. That is why they are sending Krishna for a peace. So they wanted to demonstrate their strength. We are very strong. We can defeat you. Don't come near us. Don't claim for the kingdom. So like that, they wanted to send a message to the Pandavas, and their idea was they plotted to bind Krishna and put him into the prison. So this is their plot. But these acharyas, they say only Krishna can be bound only by few devotee like Yasodama. Not all people can bind him. So these Duryodhana and Karna, they are foolish people, and they made such a foolish plan. And Yasodama, out of her love, he bound Krishna. So, others, these Asuric mentality people cannot bind Krishna. So Krishna, you cannot bind me. I exist everywhere. And then Krishna, at that time, he showed a small portion of his universal form, just to frighten Duryodhana and Karna. But these foolish fellows, Duryodhana and Karna, they were not understanding the lesson. They thought Krishna is simply showing his mystic power, and that much only he understood. Therefore, the universal form, what was shown to Duryodhana, and what the universal form Krishna is going to show Arjuna are not the same. This is in a more bigger scale what Krishna is showing. So therefore, Krishna tells, "Oh Arjuna, you cannot see me with your present eyes. Therefore, I give you a divine eye. Behold my mystic opulence." So Arjuna cannot see with his present eye the universal form what the Supreme Lord is going to show. So therefore, Krishna has bestowed him with a spiritual eye or special eye to see the universal form. Then after giving blessing, bestowing him with a special eye, then Krishna started revealing his universal form. So this information is also, Sanjaya is telling Yudhishthira, working, having spoken thus, The Supreme Lord of all mystic power, Krishna, displayed his universal form to Arjuna. So now only the universal form really begin to reveal. Sanjaya also empowered. Actually, now Krishna has given that special vision to see the universal form. Similarly, Sanjaya also is capable, or he is also bestowed similar vision by Vyasadeva. So he is also seeing the universal form. Now, starting from the 10th sloka up to 10, 11 and the next few slokas, the Krishna started revealing his universal form. That's what. So then why Arjuna asked, Krishna tells, of greatest of all personalities, O supreme form, though I see you here before me in your actual position, as you have described yourself, I wish to see you. I wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours. This is with for towards that request, Arjuna, Krishna first told Arjuna what all he can see, and then he also bestows him with a special vision to see this. Then, in this case, there are two things. One, Krishna is kind enough to reveal his universal form, and Arjuna, he asked this doubt or asked Krishna with a lot of humility. He does not challenge. He only humbly requests Arjuna to display. He humbly requests Krishna to display his universal form. So therefore, humility is the basic quality to be a good devotee. So humility can melt and win others' hearts. If we approach even the material platform, if we approach anyone with humility, we can enter into the heart of the other person. If we approach others with the pride, that would keep challenging others, then we cannot possibly enter into the heart of others. Okay, we cannot order the Supreme Lord. One cannot order the Supreme Lord, but by surrender and devotion, we can invoke His mercy. And this way, the Supreme Lord, He gives Himself. See, this is the process. So therefore, the humility and meekness, this is the quality required to approach the Supreme Lord. Now, why at all Arjuna should ask Krishna to show the universal form? So it has got multi objectives. This is great acharyas also explain this point very nicely, like Baladeva, Vidyabhushana and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and other acharyas have analyzed this particular point, and they have given the various reasons for Arjuna requesting Krishna to reveal the universal form. So this is to convince Arjuna. By the beginning of the 11th chapter, he is already convinced that Krishna is the supreme authority. Even toward the end of the 10th chapter also, he has already surrendered. Param Dhamma, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan, Purusham, Sasvam, Divyam, Aditevam, Ajam, Vibhum. Like that, Arjuna already understood Krishna. Therefore, no need for himself. He doesn't need a proof for himself to accept. But he requests this to convince those who may not agree, or still those who still consider Krishna as an ordinary person, to convince them, to prove to them that Krishna is the absolute truth. So for the benefit of common people, others who might have some doubts or apprehensions, or those who nurture some such kind of doubts, for their benefit, Arjuna is asking. And then in the future also, if anybody claims that I am the Supreme Lord, I have incarnated in the material world, then people can ask them, okay, if you are God, then show me your universal form. So therefore, to set the benchmark for the imposters, so that any imposter comes and claims that he is the incarnation of God, then people can ask that particular imposter to show his universal form. Okay, this universal form is litmus test for those who claim to be God, red or blue. So they have to prove really are they real or fact. And God will remain supreme eternally. It's actually Krishna he doesn't have to do yoga or anything to become the supreme. God is supreme in any situation, anywhere, any place, at any time. Eternally, He is the supreme personality of Godhead. So we will remain always His eternal subordinate. So because being subordinate to Krishna is our eternal position, being our master is his eternal position. When we cooperate with Krishna, and Krishna is happy, and we will also be happy. So that is what is really required. So we are all not competitors, we should be cooperators. So we must love and reciprocate with Krishna, so that we will all be happy. And this is the point. That's not right to become God. So trying to become God, it is impossible for us. So let's become godly. Godly means develop all the divine qualities and live with the Supreme Lord and other devotees in the spiritual world. So after all this, then Krishna, he reveals, actually not revealed, in the 7th chapter, he says, you cannot see my form with your present eye, so I will give you special vision. So here, the manifest, unmanifest. And there are several things which Arjuna could see. Even he is able to see the supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna, and he is the original source of everything. And with him, he is speaking to him, and is with him in his presence. And that means Krishna is manifest to him. And the Virat Rupa is unmanifest, that Arjuna wants to see. So Krishna has to manifest that unmanifest form. See only by Krishna's mercy. So if we want to see what is unmanifest, if only by Krishna's mercy we can see the unmanifest. And Arjuna's unique position is he is so fortunate. He is able to be with Krishna, and he is able to relate with him on this. And Krishna is the reservoir of all the relationship. So in the universe is created and destroyed. Therefore, we are from the Shastra, from the previous chapter also, Krishna told 2 or 3 times in the 7th chapter, and also in the earlier chapters. And the universe is created and destroyed in a periodic way. There's a calculation based on Brahma's day, night, and lifetime, and there are creation and annihilation. Similarly, this universal form is visible and invisible. See only by Krishna's mercy. We can see the universal form only by Krishna's mercy. So therefore, Arjuna's unique position is he is able to see the universal form himself by the mercy of the Supreme Lord Krishna. So therefore, we should give up the tendency of competing with Krishna and trying to become controller, proprietor, etc. So that is not our natural position. We are not the controller, we are not the proprietor. We are the competitor of the Supreme Lord, but we are the collaborator. So he as subordinates, we can collaborate with Krishna, assist Krishna in his various leelas, and that way we can all be happy and blissful, peaceful forever. Follow in the footsteps of Arjuna. So Arjuna is much more qualified than all of us in every respect. Even he does not consider himself as the competitor. So he considers himself as the servant of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, and we will see the mercy, how it flows automatically from Krishna to Arjuna, because Arjuna is very humble and accepts Krishna as the supreme. So because of these qualities, he enjoys the favor of the Supreme Lord. So now Arjuna is able to see the universal form. Tada sa vishmaya vishto krisha roma dhananjaya pranamya sirasa devam kirtanjil abhasata. So then the universal form, seeing the universal form, what kind of change or transformation it has on Arjuna. Arjuna, on seeing the universal form, he is bewildered and astonished. That is the transformation of Arjuna's bhava mood. So he is bewildered and astonished by seeing the wondrous form of the Krishna's universal form. His hair is standing on end. Arjuna bowed his head to offer obeisances, and with folded hands, he began to pray to the Supreme Lord. So in material world, all relationships disappoints. In spiritual world, all relationships are imperfect. Why? Because we deal with imperfect people here and perfect people there. So here, each one of us, we all have our own limitations and imperfections. So we cannot reciprocate in the same way. So whereas in the spiritual world, Krishna is perfect, and when we approach him, and he reciprocates in a perfect way. Therefore, that relationship will be more satisfying. So now Arjuna is offering his prayers in the following slokas 15 to 45. Arjuna is amazed by seeing the universal form and Krishna's instructions and Arjuna's prayers. Arjuna's amazement in the 15th sloka, Krishna says, my dear Lord Krishna, I see assembled in your body all the demigods and various other living entities. I see Brahma sitting on the lotus flower, as well as Lord Shiva and other sages and divine serpents. I see in your body many arms, bellies, mouths, eyes, expanded everywhere without limit. I see in you no end, no middle, no beginning. So all this is seeing. You are without origin, middle, or end. Your glory is unlimited. You have numberless arms, and the sun and moon are your eyes. I see you with blazing fire coming forth from your mouth, burning this entire universe by your own radiance. And then, although you are one, you spread throughout the sky and the planets and all space between. O great one, seeing this wondrous and terrible form, all the planetary systems are perturbed. Then he also says, all the hosts of demigods are surrendering before you and entering into you. Some of them very much afraid are offering prayers with folded hands. Hosts of great sages and perfected beings crying all peace and praying to you by singing the Vedic hymns like that. So the Arjuna's response or the transformation in his personality is described here, top to bottom. So he is the vision, and then he is not able to see the full form because it is limitless, unending. So glowing effulgence, personal form. So all these are Arjuna is seeing. So now in the 16, he is able to see, oh, universal form. I see in your body many arms, bellies, like that. Then glowing effulgence. So he is also seeing the glaring effulgence spreading all side like blazing fire. In that Arjuna tells in the 17th sloka. And 18th sloka, and Arjuna says, you are the ultimate resting place of all this universe. You are the supreme primal objective. And you are inexhaustible, and you are the oldest. You are the maintainer of the eternal religion, the personality of Godhead. So therefore, he claim finally says, Krishna, you are the personality of Godhead, personal form. This is my opinion. And unlimited opulences. So Krishna's the opulences are unlimited, and Krishna also shows the Kala Rupa, his form as time, how he destroys and spread across the planetary system. Krishna has allowed the demigod to see his universal form also. You spread throughout the sky and the planets and all spaces between, and inspiring fear and subordination. So seeing this instills fear in whoever sees, and they immediately surrender to him as subordinate. So anything amazing we have to appreciate, not only because it's amazing, but more importantly, even that is included in Lord's universal form. So here, actually, after seeing this, Arjuna is asking, he is afraid. His mood changed from astonishment to fear. Therefore, he is asking, who are you? What is your mission? So that's what he asked. And to that, Krishna says, time I am. In 10.32, Arjuna, Krishna says, time I am. Because in 11.31, Arjuna asked the question because he is terrified. So he says, oh, who are you? What is the mission? What is the purpose for you have come? So now Krishna tells, time I am. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, time I am, the great destroyer of the world. I have come here to destroy all people, with the exception of you, the Pandavas. All the soldiers here on the both sides will be slain. So this is what Krishna tells. So that's where Krishna says, I am, time I am. That means as Kala Rupa, what is the mission of Kala Rupa? Destruction of all on this battlefield. All soldiers except the Pandavas will be annihilated. The Lord saying that even if the point what Krishna now wants to convey to Arjuna is, even Arjuna, even if you did not fight, every one of them would be destroyed. For that was my plan. That was Krishna's plan. If Arjuna stopped fighting, they would die in another way. Death could not be checked. Even if he did not fight, they will be killed. In fact, they were already killed. They were already dead. So Arjuna cannot save them. Arjuna cannot save their life by not fighting. But he has the choice whether or not to participate in the battle. So Krishna, however, wants Arjuna to perform his duty, and therefore Krishna says in all this, and then he tells Arjuna, get up, prepare to fight and win glory, conquer the enemy and enjoy the flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement. So these are all predictions already. It's going to happen, but Krishna has showed them already. And Krishna is telling Arjuna, they are already put to death by my arrangement. You, O Savyasachī, can be but an instrument in my fight, in the fight. So you be my instrument in the fight. Savyasachī is a word used in the 33rd sloka. Savyasachī means one who can fight with both hands. Many warriors are these personalities, great Kshatriyas. Some people can fight with right hand, some people can fight with left hand, but Arjuna has the capacity to fight with both left and right hands. Therefore, he is called Savyasachī, one who can fight with ambidextrously, that means with both hands. So therefore, Krishna, he encourages Arjuna to stand up and fight. But you fight without pride, because all these are already done by me. So without pride, you carry out your duty. Same way, in our life, whatever endeavor we undertake, the execution, the completion or success of our endeavor, it all depends on Krishna, and Krishna completes it. And we should not take pride for any success in our material endeavor also. So here, all this, finally Krishna tells Arjuna, you be my instrument. Therefore, by that you attain your glory name. So therefore, Krishna says, get up, prepare to fight and win glory. Conquer enemies, enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement. You, Savyasachi, can. Nimitta matram bhava Savyasachin. So therefore, we have our plans, Lord has his plans. If they match, if our plan and the Supreme Lord Krishna's plan match, then we will succeed. We are all on reverse timer, be alert and wise. Because reverse timer means we are moving towards death. Arjuna's prayers. So now, after seeing all this universal form, etc., Arjuna is totally afraid. So he is now praying to the Supreme Lord, because earlier time when they were as a friend, when they were playing, Arjuna has called him by the different names. You are the father of this complete cosmic manifestation of the moving and non-moving. You are its worshipable chief, the supreme spiritual master. No one is greater than you, nor can anyone be one with you. How then can there be anyone greater than you within the three worlds? O Lord of immeasurable power. Therefore he says, Aprameya. So Arjuna further says, oh Janardana, seeing this human-like form, so very beautiful, I am now composed in mind and I am restored to my original nature. So between these two, 46th and 55, some other topics are coming in. So Arjuna is totally fearful and he falls to the ground and he makes so much prayers. He pays obeisances from the thousands of times, from the front, from the back, from all the sides. He prays to the Supreme Lord and requesting him to forgive him. Please forgive me for whatever I may have done in madness or in love. I have dishonored you many times, jesting as we relaxed, lay on the same bed or sat on or ate together, sometimes alone, sometimes in front of many friends. Oh, infallible one, please excuse me for all those offenses. So like that, as a friend, they had all these exchanges. For that now, after seeing Krishna's great elevated position, so he repents and asks for forgiveness from the Supreme Lord. And what kind of prayer he is making? You are father of this complete cosmic manifestation. And like that, Arjuna falls to the ground. After seeing this universal form, which I have never seen before, I am gladdened, but at the same time, my mind is disturbed with fear. Therefore, please bestow your grace upon me and reveal again your form as the personality of Godhead, O Lord of Lords, O abode of the universe. So he wants him to show him this original form. So from this, what we need to understand is Krishna's form as a 200 Shyamasundara form is the origin, and that is the original form. That all other manifestations he shows are coming from Krishna's original form as Shyamasundara form. So therefore, Krishna as a full moon, that is his original form. All other forms, sometimes he partially shows it, like a moon. We can see small, half, like that. These are all various forms. The original form is Krishna's form. So original form of Krishna is this transcendental form. Krishna with the flute and this bluish color with peacock feather on his head, and the crown, this very beautiful dress and the ornaments. So that is his Krishna's original 200 form. That is the Manusham Rupam. So and that Rupam is very, very beautiful, Shaumya. And that form is very, very beautiful. And this form of Krishna is very rare to see, very difficult to see. Durdarsham, Sudurdarsham. So very difficult to see. Now, towards the end, my dear Arjuna, he who engages in my pure devotional service. Actually, Krishna concludes the 11th chapter. This is the most important verse in Bhagavad-gītā. Krishna wants us to do only these 5 things. Mat karma krit, mat parama, mat bhakta, sangha varjita, nirvaira sarva bhutesu, ya samam yeti pandava. So, how one can enter into the kingdom of God, how we can go back to the spiritual world. If you do these 5 things, Krishna says, you will come to me. What are these 5 things? My mat karma krit. So you render devotional service to me, work for me. Mat karma krit. Then mat paramo. So mat paramo means the devotee should remain unattached to both heavenly and impersonal destinations. So we should keep Krishna Loka, Goloka as our destination. Parama, that is the supreme abode. Mat Parama, Krishna is the supreme, and his Dhamma is also supreme. So therefore, only that going there must be our goal. And therefore, Prabhupada also says that devotee should remain unattracted to both heavenly and impersonal destinations. So the devotee should not aspire to enter into Indraloka, Chandraloka, or they should not be interested in merging with the Brahman. They must be interested only in going to the spiritual world, Goloka, and be with Krishna. So that is the Mat Parama. And then Mat Bhakta, you become my devotee. So Mat Bhakta means the devotee must fully engage in the 9 processes of devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. So they must be engaged in 9 processes of devotional service, and their goal is Krishna's seva, and with no desire for attainment, any material attainments in this world. So that way, that kind of bhakta we should become. Then what is Sangha Varjita? A devotee should not associate with persons who are against Krishna. So we should not associate with persons who are against Krishna, and he should not become attracted to anything but pure devotion. Except pure devotion, we should not be attracted to anything else. But at the same time, so this is also very important, the Acharyas say, a devotee should not be envious of those who are inimical. If somebody is not devotee and they are inimical toward Krishna, even against them, we should not be envious. We should not be enemy to them, because due to their past karma of such a person has awarded him that kind of mentality. Somebody is atheistic, etc. It is not. Nobody is eternally atheistic. Maybe due to their some past karma at present they are atheistic. Maybe by some association with some good people, they will transform, their mentality will change, they may become some devotees. So even we are not, maybe in previous birth, previous birth, we could have been atheistic. Now we have become transformed to devotee and trying to become a devotee. So therefore, we should not, even such people who are inimical to Krishna, we should not mistreat them, we should not curse them, we should be compassionate on them. So therefore Krishna says, the Sangha Varjita means Acharyas explain like this. Then Nirvaira Sarva Bhutesu. Nirvaira Sarva Bhutesu means we should not consider anyone as our enemy. He must compassionately desire to give Krishna consciousness to others. So whether he takes it or not, we should not discriminate on the basis of their body or their activity. Just give them Krishna's mercy. It is up to them to accept or reject. If we do these 5 things, Mat Karmakan, Mat Parama, Mat Bhakta, Sangha Varjita, Nirvaira Sarva Bhutesu, yeah, anyone who performs, acts, or behaves, or executes these 5 activities, Yasa Mam Yeti Pandava, and he certainly comes to me. So therefore, Krishna in the 11th chapter, concluding verse, 55th verse, he gives the most important instructions for us, what we are supposed to do for entering into the spiritual world. So just like one relishes the company of a dear friend more than his exhibition of opulences, similarly Lord's personal dealings are very sweeter than his Aishwarya. So Krishna, actually Arjuna rejoices more, relishes more Krishna's company than seeing his various opulences. So therefore, in the 11th chapter, we have seen many things, like Arjuna made a request, because Arjuna is now fully relieved of all his confusion or illusions, and he is ready to execute Krishna's order. And since Krishna has told that by my fragment of myself, I pervade and support every whole cosmos, then Arjuna was interested to see that universal form. So therefore he made a request to fulfill Arjuna's desire to see the universal form. Krishna bestowed him with a special vision and showed the universal form. And after seeing the universal form, Arjuna is totally amazed and wonderstruck, and then he offers his prayers and asks forgiveness for having called the Supreme Lord as in singularly, like Krishna, Yadava, like that, by different names. I called you for all those offenses. Please kindly forgive me. And then he pays obeisances from the front, back, side, like that. He showed his humility and fear. And in the universal form also, he has seen many things that we have seen. When you see it detailed, then we can see all this. And finally, Arjuna, he wants to see his Krishna's original form as 200 Shyama Sundara form. So in fact, Krishna also showed him his 400 Vishnu form and then transformed to 200 form. If actually, when Krishna, before appearing before Mother Yasoda and Vasudev, he appeared as Narayana form and then transformed into 200 Krishna form. Actually, they were happy only after seeing the 200 Krishna form. Here also, Krishna showed his universal form, then 400 Vishnu form. Even Arjuna is not very much satisfied with 400 form, because he could not feel the closeness. And only when Krishna came back to his original 200 form, Arjuna says, I am now composed and happy. So like this, we have seen various aspects of the 11th chapter. Tomorrow we will see the 12th chapter. What is the connection between 11th and 12th chapter, that we can see tomorrow. Today, whatever we discussed in the 11th chapter, if any devotee has got some points or some questions, we can discuss. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Participants, if you have questions, kindly unmute and ask.
Prabhu, one question is there in the chat.
Yes.
Prabhuji, there is one question in the chat, Prabhuji.
Ah. What is the question in the chat, Raja Prabhu?
It is regarding Krishna Loka. I read it. Isn't it Krishna Loka and Vaikundam the same, since Krishna and Vishnu are non-different?
Actually, both are spiritual world. In Krishna Loka, Krishna is the personal, predominant deity. Krishna will be present in his 200 form. In the Vaikundha Lokas, all the Krishna's incarnation in the form of Vishnu, mostly 400 form, Krishna will be present in the form of Vishnu. Maybe there are different planets. In each of those planets, Krishna's expansion in 400 form, Vishnu form will be present. In Goloka, even the devotees who are living with Krishna, they all have 200 form. And in the Vaikundha Loka, the devotees will also have 400 forms. So we see this Vaikundha gate, Jai Vijay. So that normally we read in Srimad Bhagavatam. Jai Vijay, they are doorkeepers of Vaikundha. Even they have 400 form. Whenever we enter in Srirangam temple or any Vishnu temple, in the door there will be 2 persons standing in the front. They are the gatekeepers or doorkeepers of Vaikundha gate. And there are these deities are Jaya and Vijay. They will have 4 hands, 400 form. And therefore in Vaikundha and Goloka, the form and the mood are different. In the Vaikundha, the mood is Vishnu is worshipped in the Aishwarya form. In the Goloka, Krishna is worshipped in Madhurya form. And there Aishwarya is not important. Madhurya, the sweet relationship as a friend, mother, that kind of relationship. Here in Vaikundha, mostly in Krishna, Arjuna is, as Vishnu is so great, and the devotees see him as the supreme controller, master, Yajamana, mostly in the Dashya Bhava, and with Aishwarya, they will worship the Supreme Lord. So therefore, in the mood, Bhava, and the form, there is a slight difference between Goloka and Vaikundha. So the devotees, according to their mood and bhava, they will enter Vaikundha or Goloka accordingly. Hare Krishna.
Good morning, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
You spoke of 5 good things, no? That we should do to be able to experience Krishna.
Yeah.
Just a quick recap of that, please.
Yeah, actually, Krishna concluding the 11th chapter, finally he says, Mat karma krit, mat parama, mat bhakta, sangha varjita, nirvaira sarva bhuteshu, yasa mam yeti pandava. This concluding sloka. Mat karma krit means we have to render devotional service. That means we have to work for him. And Mat Parama means we should consider Krishna as the supreme, and going back to the spiritual world should be our only goal. Sometimes people get attracted by the Swargaloka, or sometimes people get attracted to merging into Brahman. So one should be able to overcome these attractions and keep only going back to the spiritual world as the only goal. That is called Mat Parama. Mat Bhakta means become my devotee. Carry out these Navavida Bhakti, all 9 or 1 or 2, take up this 9 devotion service and be engaged in that with Krishna as the only goal. Mat Bhakta. Sangha Varjita means though many people might be inimical to Krishna and avoid their company, At the same time, you don't become inimical to them or do not curse them. They are in that position because of their karma or something. They have developed that mood and they're like acting like that. So be compassionate to them. If possible, give them Krishna's mercy. Otherwise, don't disturb them. So then finally he says, Sangha Varjita and Nirvaira Sarva Bhutesu. Not just the inimical people, even any other jivatma. Every jivatma, you be friendly with them. Nirvaira, Vairi means enemy, Nirvairi means no enemy. So treat them all in a friendly mood. If we behave this way, then anyone who follows these 5 instructions, they will enter into my abode. That's what Krishna says.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Participants, if you have any questions, quickly ask, else we will end the session. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, there is one more question in the chat. There is one discussion going on. There is one question stating, is Vishnu is different from Krishna? And another question is, will Vishnu and Krishna both have same power, or there is any difference? Like that, it's there in the chat.
Okay. I will answer that question. Vishnu and Krishna, they are identical, and potency-wise are also same. Whatever Aishwarya potency Krishna has got, Vishnu also has got. Only difference is in the mood. And that mood also not Krishna's mood, it is the mood of the devotees. Some devotees, they want to worship Vishnu in 400 form and serve him. So to satisfy those devotees, Krishna live with him or present with him in that 400 form. Some devotees like Arjuna, Uddhava, they want to see Krishna in his 200 form, in the simple, like a cowherd boy. In that way, they want to relate with him. And some Arjuna and all, he wants to relate with Krishna in Dwaraka. And this gopis and Gopas, they want to relate with Krishna in the mood of here Gokula, Vrindavana. So according to the desire of the devotees, Krishna manifests these different forms. So, but as far as the potency, they are all identical. Every form of Krishna is identical, nothing inferior or superior. They are all identical. Just to fulfill his devotees' desires, he manifests different forms. That's all.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I think the participants. Thank you very much. And,
Okay.
If no questions, shall we end the session, Prabhuji?
Okay, we can end the session.
Thank you. We will meet again tomorrow. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Okay. Hare Krishna.